Hello! Welcome to Lawfully Chaotic, Season 4, Episode 14.
Is that really season 4? We're not even halfway through season 4, right?
I know.
Not July,
No.
right? No, holy shit,
No.
man. We might actually hit some serious episode numbers now.
Episode 1,1294,000.
Rick and Morty forever. Rick and Morty forever.
Welcome to Lawfully Chaotic.
25 seasons.
Thank you for joining us or watching after the fact if you're watching on VOD. Hey, Kristen is here. You win. No, Dragon Painter, you win first in chat. Andy, nice. Thank you for joining us. Kristen, thank you for joining us. Good to see you. You both need to be back on the show, by the way.
Is that your Micro Machine voice interpretation?
My Micro Machine?
Oh,
I'm wired tonight, man. I'm wired. I don't know. I actually have a topic tonight.
Oh yeah, I'm aggressively interested.
Well, it's going to be. You know what? I'll save it. As with me always is Jason Baldrick of TTRPG Academy, the master storyteller himself. How you are always welcome back on, Kristen. And I totally mean that. No, just kidding. No. I totally threw myself off. All right, we got to start the show over. Jason, what do you got going on lately? How was your time off?
It was not very productive. I would have loved for it to be a lot more productive.
Next week.
Oh, well, that was quick. Next week.
Hang on, let me discuss with Jason. Next week.
It was good. It was the week before, actually, there was a bunch of projects I needed to get done on the ranch before we went on our 5-day camping trip down to San Diego. But it was time off doesn't mean I wasn't working. When you side hustle, everything feels like work. Everything feels like
it's work. Not so much that it feels like work, it just kind of always is work. But the point is it's not supposed to feel like work because it's your own stuff.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right?
That's fair. What have you been up to?
Not much. Oh, look, we have chat on the screen. That's kind of cool.
Isn't that neat?
That's a new feature. Did you do that?
It is. It automatically comes with the current version of StreamYard that I have. So
cool.
Yeah, it's built in. Pretty cool.
Now I'm just going to be staring at it all night. I'm distracted.
It even has like the fade to black, and it's all glossy.
I know. Yeah, no, it looks cool. StreamYard
I
is
like
awesome.
how it distracted you. That was epic.
It's like a cat. It's like
squirrel.
No, not too much. I've got a comfortable workload right now, so I'm trying to devote more time to to the fun work. But yeah, that's about it. Nothing
you
special.
Got any Darrington or Critical Role stuff that you're working on?
I've got a little bit of work for a game that is actually, it's been on hold for a bit, but it is being released, so I've got a little bit of work for that. Critical Role, not at the moment. Although, what did I do last week? I did something last week. I don't know. They threw me shit. Which is great. No, I love it.
You're so distracted with the idea of your topic, you can't even wait. Like you're chomping at the bit.
Okay. Well, with that segue, I have something I'd like to discuss tonight. It is a topic near and dear to my heart, probably one that you are all familiar with. We're going to have a rant rodeo.
Uh-oh. Here we go.
Yeah, my headphones over my
Okay, first of all, make your head look twice the size of normal. So that's a little creepy.
That's my intelligence. It's my huge amount of intelligence, man. I'd like to talk about a couple of Kickstarters that I backed.
Oh, here we go. Yes.
You can guess one of them. It's these here Game with Pixels dice. I still don't have them. Moral of the story. We could end it right there.
Just order them on Amazon. They're already on Amazon.
Don't you dare fucking go there, Jason. I will murder you, man. In fact, I got a special little overlay for tonight. I'm going to put that right up top there.
Fuck off, Pixels.
Now, what I would like to do is now some of you, I would like to talk about branding for a second. And you may ask yourself, oh, no, here we go. Yes, indeed. It's going to be a wild ride. So hold on, grab a beer and hold on, man. You might want to pack cigarettes too. You may ask yourself, what does branding have to do with a failed Kickstarter, or not failed, just a shitty Kickstarter? I'm going to tell you.
Yeah, that's what makes it even worse. It didn't even have the decency to fail. It just had the decency to be shitty.
Exactly. If it failed, I got no complaint other than, well, shit, it's a Kickstarter, it's a crowdfunder, sometimes they fail. Although I have to say, every Kickstarter I've backed has not failed. So, and let's start out with this. I want to show you my Kickstarter history just so you could see all the shit I bought. And this is not to brag. This is just to prove to you that I've bought a lot off of Kickstarter. So I'm not a Kickstarter noob, all right? I understand how it works. There's a lot of shit on here. Here's one I'm going to talk about tonight, Neo Cube, $79, all right? Estimated delivery, March 2025. Guess what I got in my hand? The Neo Cube, March 2025, all right? A whole bunch of games here. I'm going to load more, all kinds of stuff. Look at this, $449 for Dice Throne X-Men.
You might actually have a problem.
Look at that. I know, right? Like Skinny Minis, $369, 308. Oh my God, I do it. Jesus, I didn't know I had this. Holy shit, if my wife ever sees this, I'm fucking divorced. Let's go all the way back down. Now, this is chronological, right? So we're going all the way back, way back here, way back here, all the way back. Now, let's see, where does Pixels come in? They come in, I'm just looking for the frowny face, right here. You see what that says?
$389 for 2 sets of dice.
And that, Jason, is why I'm so annoyed. All right? It's a fair amount of money.
First of all, yeah, you're right about that, Dragon Painter. I think it's time for an intervention. Holy shit.
That's a whole nother topic. But I just want to direct you. I just want to direct you to this little bit of data right here. Estimated delivery, March 2022. That's in the past by 3. 3 pasts. All right. So, given that, back to branding. You may ask yourself, what does branding have to do with Kickstarter? Well, I didn't set out to be a brand guy for the game community, but a lot of people have utilized me for said services. And yes, I have tried sending them an email, Andrew, numerous times. And guess what I got back? Diddly fucking squat. All right. So branding. Now I do brand work. Some of you have heard this. Some of you, if you utilize, if you hire me for my services, or if you take one of my up and coming branding seminars online for the low price of about $80.
You really can't. I kind of made that up. You can really get them on Amazon.
Yes, I know this.
I just looked them up thinking that...
Don't ruin my act, Jason. I will get there, okay? Now, branding.
Oh, shit.
Part of what I do when I do brand work is educate yes, I do, Kristen. I do brand work. Absolutely. You didn't know that, did you? We already had that conversation. Part of my work is educating people what branding is. Most people think it's a logo. Well, it is. But it isn't, okay? There's a lot more to it, and it's a lot more all-encompassing than that. In fact, I have developed my own definition of what branding is. I'm going to share it with you right now, okay? Your brand is the all-encompassing perception that people have of you, your product, or your business. Now, let me point out the key word there. All-encompassing. Understand that? Get that? All right. Most people think that branding... Most people think that branding stops at naming and logo and visual, the visual aspects and all that. To me, a brand is the foundation of everything that we do in visual communications, right? And I've had this conversation numerous times back in my agency days with creative directors and whatnot, especially when I worked in UX, that brand has nothing to do with UX. And I was like, bullshit, it's got everything to do with it, okay? I like that. That is fantastic. You win tonight. Perfect. So, branding to me is everything from naming and logo creation all the way. You go through promotions, marketing, merchandising, everything, all the way, guess what? To customer service. No, I'm not even going to touch Sears. I ain't going there. Customer service, you say, how does that have anything to do with branding? I'm going to tell you. If you use my definition of branding, which is the perception that people have of your business or your product or you, well, if you fuck up in customer service and treat your customers like idiots, that's going to affect their perception of you, and that's going to affect how they interact with your product. Imagine that. If you do good by them in customer service, they will forgive you for mistakes, and they will come back again. It's really very simple. And I think I'm just about the only one who's ever figured that customer service is a part of branding. Everybody looks at me like I'm crazy, all right? But you can't treat your customer like he's a shit for brains, mouth breathing, drooling troglodyte. All right. You got to treat your customers like they got a brain in their fucking head. Okay. Unless they are mouth breathing troglodytes, in which case, good luck to you. But anyway, so having said all that, I would now like to delve into these two Kickstarters. I'm going to start with this here Neo Cube. All right. Now this is a very cool, very well made aluminum laser cut dice. There's a whole set of dice in your hand right here. What you do is you spin it like that, and there's a pointer printed, laser etched. In fact, mine says RPG and Company. Oh, look what happened there. One of the metal faces fell out. Oh, imagine that. But it's very cool. They offer you a whole set of dice plus 20 different inserts. I got a set of dice plus playing cards and compass coordinates or compass directions and shit. And they had all kinds of stuff. Friend or foe, they had alignment, they had, all kinds of shit. It's a really cool idea. Fits in your hand, a whole set of dice. Now, these facets, these faces are interchangeable. Okay, so you can order extra ones and you drop them right in there. Well, guess what? I got this in my hand, all right? In under a year. Door's locked. You can't leave, man. You're stuck here. You got to listen to this shit. This was funded in under a year. They had some production issues. They had some delays.
Yeah.
They still delivered by March 22 when they said they would. Or March of this year. Okay? Understand? Now, I got it. And every single one of these fucking faces fell out. The magnets are not strong enough. It's ridiculous. I was really pissed off, right? I mean, it's $79. It's not the end of the world, but, And I was about to have a fit. Okay? I found out about the problem because the developer preemptively put a message up that said, we understand this, we're super sorry, here's what you could do to try to fix it. And they gave this big, long, cockamamie, recipe list of you need a brass rod and a straw and glue and all that shit. And I'm like, oh, fuck no, man. Now, I partially fixed it with some tape, okay? And it's pretty much working. But 2 days later, the developer sends out an email and says, hey, we are really sorry about this. We thought that the ability to change these faces was more important than keeping the goddamn things in. So what we're going to do is we're going to offer you a $50 refund. Okay. They're already shipped out, so we can't refund the whole thing, but we're going to offer you $50 or we will send you a brand new one that is fixed and improved and the pieces will not fall out. And I was like, holy shit. Right?
That's proper.
That's proper.
Yeah,
I will buy their product again. I will use this. I will recommend it. That's branding. They just interacted with me in a way that will get me to continue to use their product. They treated me with respect as a customer, right? Okay? So the product badly misdesigned, and they took care of it upon themselves. They didn't wait like 4 months of people bitching and shit. Within 3 days, they released an email and offered this up. So that is product one. Now to my favorite pixel dice, right?
Recommend the new
I
one
do- I
or the
do-
one with tape on it.
I do have I recommend a new one. Oops, shit. I will recommend the new one. Wait to buy it. Okay. Now pixel dice. Now I did get 2 D4. I ordered $389 worth of dice. It's like 2 full sets plus the way they did it is, the D4 add-ons. Why the fuck they sent me 2 D4 without the rest of the shit? I don't know. But it's, it works pretty cool. I mean, when it rolls, it lights up. There we go. See, it's lighting up. Well, fuck, it lights up. All right, it does work. I'll give them that. And it connects to D&D Beyond. And when you roll it, the roll comes through digitally on D&D Beyond. It's pretty cool. Now, see, I got a whole shitload of dice from Kraken Dice, and they weren't bad, but, here's the thing. All right. They did a really good job on that Kickstarter. They sucked you in and they got you all hyped up, and you get the dice. You're like, well, fuck, this is just Chesic shit. Right.
Mm.
I mean, they're cool dice. Nothing wrong with them. But was it worth all the hype? Probably not. I spent like fucking $120 on their dice. So, yes, I do have a goddamn problem. Anyway, back to the pixel dice. Now, I would like to point out a couple things here. All right. I'm going to switch over to, here's the NeoCube website. So you can see this right here, and anyway, check it out, right? But there's some messages on here, and he's got where is it? Message me. Well, it doesn't fucking matter. All right, so here, Pixels, Game with Pixels. Their website is set up. It's all nice and slick. I'm just going to cut to the chase, and I'm going to go to the community section right here, and I'm going to go to customer reviews, and they have 5 customer reviews, and they're all a 5 out of 5. Imagine that. You gotta have fucking dice to do a review, dipshits. I would also like to point out that this project, you know how long it's been now? Anybody want to guess?
4 years, 5 years, 6 years, 4 years and 20 days.
4 fucking years and 20 fucking days. You understand that? 4 fucking years and 20 days. That's not even the worst of it. The worst part of it is they sent out their fucking messages is nothing but complaining and whining about all of their production issues and this and that, and they got problems with this and that, and they can't send out full sets and whatnot. Well, what they do in the meantime, they offered what they had on their website at a 15% discount, which means you could buy it for less than you could on the fucking Kickstarter. Then what'd they do, Jason? Can you guess?
Then they sold it on motherfucking Amazon.
On Amazon! Fucking dice yet. What the fucking hell? Now, to me, they have treated me like a fucking idiotic, just... I can't, I'm so flustered, I can't even speak anymore. That's how stupid they've made me. So that is an example of how they have not treated their customers with respect. I will never fucking buy their product again. And guess what? I have my own TV show. We're on it right now. So I'm going to use my airtime to shit all over their product, right? And I'm going to use whatever teeny tiny, meager, stupid, unseen little influence I have to shit all over them. And I'm gonna do a couple posts. And originally, Jason, I asked you this a couple weeks ago. I was like, am I gonna sound like a whiny bitch if I put this up on here and whatnot? And you know what? I don't care. I don't give a fuck, because I paid $389 for the right to complain rather than spent it on dice, because I ain't got no dice except for these 2 shitty fucking D4. So the moral of the story is, A, I fucking hate pixels and they can fuck off. B, branding is what I do. Okay. This is why I feel that customer service is a part of branding. All right. And a lot of companies, they don't understand that every single thing they do reflects on them.
Yeah.
That's how their customers interact with them. WotC
Yeah.
learned the hard way. They pissed off the community. They still do it to some extent, and it cost them. Maybe
Yeah,
not
they haven't learned.
monetarily.
They haven't learned shit.
Right. So I actually do have a point to all this, other than, like I said, I am going to use whatever tiny, teeny, inconsequential ability I have to
That's fair.
fucking knock the shit out of them. But this is part of what I try to express about branding when you build a brand, is that it does go beyond the visual aspect and the logo and the name and all that. There's strategy, there is how you interact, it's your personality, it's your brand voice, and it's how you interact with your customers. So this is an example of a shitty product that I will recommend and buy again because they stood behind it, and an awesome product that I am considering throwing in the garbage disposal because the optics of what they did with offering it on the website and on Amazon, and even one of the messages was like, "Oh, the tariffs hit us, and we don't want to ask you for more money to ship this stuff." It was like they were like testing, like begging for money, and I was like, "Are you fucking serious?" So Pixels, fuck you to the nth degree. And again, there's just a little lesson in branding. Take it for what it is.
And that's a great transition, because what's really creepy is we never really collude about our subject matter, right? Which is I love it.
Not anymore. We used to, and it sucked. And now
it sucked. And now we just show up with our ideas of subject we want to talk about, and I love it.
And by the way, thank you everybody and Jason for sitting through that fucking tirade.
And what's amazing is, whether it's Kismet or osmosis or mitosis or meiosis, whatever science subject I failed at. This I am going to talk about.
When you've been married as long as we have, you just kind of you sync up.
I'm going to talk about Daggerheart tonight, but not the way that most other people are talking about it.
Oh, don't get me started on those fuckers at Critical Role.
So the reason why I want to talk about Daggerheart
that was a joke.
No, clearly. Don't cancel me, just cancel Brian. If you haven't watched Kristen's Adventures, go check it out. She does a really, really, really good D&D to Critical Role compare, plus a really good concise intro to the Daggerheart the Daggerheart journey. So go over to Kristen's Adventures on YouTube. Check out that video. It's really good. I watched it a couple times. It's exactly what most people need to know mechanically and functionally what to expect coming into the Daggerheart thing. Now, I'm
glad you're talking about this tonight, because I'm going to be honest, I have not cracked mine open yet. I really haven't. I've been waiting to really
talk about mechanics. I'm not going to talk about how whether or not it's a D&D killer. And I will stipulate this: there is no such thing. There will never be a such thing as a D&D killer. It doesn't exist, and it will never exist. And I've expressed my opinions and reasons on that like multitude of times. 50 years of lore cannot be undone. You could take that lore and play it on any framework you want, and you're going to be playing a D&D game. So that ship has sailed. So all of these influencers, all these kind of people doing the whole, Daggerheart is too crunchy, or Daggerheart's not going to be the D&D killer, or this, that, or whatever. The reason why I'm talking about Daggerheart tonight is the polar opposite reason why you talked about Pixels. This, my friends, is how you market a product. This is the correct way to market something, to hold yourself to a level of quality, to hold yourself to an amazing series of videos, to invite people in on how to use it.
I just remembered what I did for Critical Role last week, or for Darrington. It was those fucking thumbnails for the videos.
Yeah, exactly. What it, and I'll say the one mechanical thing that this affirms, that this game affirms, that I've been saying for years, is that the difficulty check system is here to stay, like for all TTRPGs. It's a good system. It's a responsive system. It's a very easy way to resolve the obscure way of, you know, if you're running into rule conditions. Literally, if you run into a rule you can't decide on, you just go, you know what? Give me an intelligence check, DC 14. If you beat it, we move on, right? That's an amazing mechanic, and it's in the system. Everything else in here is brand new. Brand new. They even went out of their way to make sure they used very obscure dice as a means of mechanics, right? D12s. Who the fuck uses D12 systems?
Nobody. The most unloved dice in the world, unless you're a barbarian.
Yeah, exactly. You know, so when I say doing marketing correctly, there is a series called Get Your Sheet Together that Matt has been publishing. Critical Role's been publishing, putting out these videos to help people get involved. And they're these great 5-6 minute videos that talk about basic parts of the game to really pull you in and get you to understand the significant differences between their system and other systems. And they even pay homage to the systems that influenced the idea of building this game. They're very informative. They're very concise. They're funny. It's Matt being solo and Matt being funny, but he's bantering with the camera. He's bantering with, he's trying to say, get your sheet together, and they keep bleeping it. They keep bleeping it, and he's getting pissed. And he goes, what the fuck, right? Yeah. And he goes, what the fuck? And they don't bleep that. And then he just, he gets all. Now, if you want to know how not to do promotional videos, go on over to D&D Beyond's channel and watch those really shitty 45-minute long promotional videos by Watsy. Just a bunch of old white guys sitting around commiserating on how easy their lives are and how they were quibbling over this little bit of this and this little bit of that, all that, right? No one cares. No one watched those videos. The only people that watched those videos were people that needed ASMR in the background to fall asleep because it was stupid and it was boring. Matt does it perfectly. Very concise, 5-6 minute videos, very to the point of the game, and he showcases the differences of the system. He focuses in on those differences. And when he does the bit about hope and fear, I love the hope and fear system. It is so eloquent, so much fun, and it really allows the DM, the GM, and the storyteller to really feel like they're a part of it. The initiative system is rule breaking. The initiative system is amazing. We've seen with Josh's game, Grimoires of the Unseen, he did a similar mechanic for distance, right? He got rid of the 5-foot squares and he did distant measurement. Daggerheart does distant measurement. That's a very game-breaking idea. Get out of the business of worrying about how far things are down to the where if you're measuring it down to that last 5-foot square to determine whether or not the huge cinematic battle is going to take place. I would also say another game breaker for a TTRPG is the introduction of me opening the box so I can get them out. The cards.
Oh my God, totally.
They include. Not only is the artwork beautiful, once again, another marketing brilliancy. If you are a Magic the Gathering or a Yu-Gi-Oh! Or some kind of card collector, or that's your thing, you finally have a reason to maybe be a little interested in a TTRPG. Cards are comfortable for you. They're concise. They have cool information that makes sense. You know, and I like collecting cards. Somebody might
Not
say.
only that, but it is an exceptionally easy way to introduce expansions
Oh,
without
very
having
easy,
to
very
rewrite
creative.
entire books and making you buy
Yeah.
new libraries.
The other thing too is their pre-order was dead on accurate. They didn't like brainwash you with all this pre-order bullshit. They gave you two options. And these two options were this very extreme collector's one or the more affordable one, right? That gave you two options. If you're a collector, it gave you a great option for being a collector.
By the way, they're sold to my knowledge, they're sold out right now.
Yes, they are sold out. I had found that out as well. Once again, a marketing. I wonder if anyone will send them into CGC to be graded.
Oh my God. You know what? I'm going to ask them if they want to send a set to you and they can have one set of slabbed cards, Kristen.
Right?
That's a great idea.
Another brilliant thing, keep it simple and keep it concise. Here's the collection one. Here's the one that you can afford, right? But both of them came with an amazing PDF copy. The PDF includes all the cards.
Wait, Jason, you mean it came with it for free, included for no extra money?
Exactly.
And
no shade, no gaslighting, very simple, straightforward program. And, I ordered it. I was actually late with my pre-order. I pre-ordered 4 days before the release date, and I was able to get it. It shipped. I got it 3 days after it shipped. It came in beautifully, great condition, no problems, nothing.
I'm gonna have to wait until they reprint some of the core, the regular copy. I'm thinking I might just put this one away. I should have ordered both, but
we've already seen your tendency to spend too much money, so that makes sense.
Yeah, the cat's out of the bag now. If I may. One other thing that I've noticed, and I like that you use D&D Beyond as a counterpoint. And again, sorry for throwing shade at WotC, but fuck it, who cares? One of the things that I've, at a point in my career, that I struggled with was, especially when now like websites are not really as in the forefront in your mind as much when you talk about, well, I got a project, a product or whatever. We need, what's our website look like? Obviously everybody's got a website. Nobody really fucking cares how it looks anymore. And this is coming from a designer. As long as it's clean and the UX is good and it works well, that's all you need. And it's part of the entire ecosystem of digital advertising, okay, social and web and mobile and just all that stuff. And one of the things that I struggled with, and I'll keep this short, I don't want to step on your time here, was there was a point in time at which websites got really frenetic in terms of layout and placement and whatnot. And for a while I thought, well, maybe I'm just getting old, and the younger generations, with their half second attention spans can process all this fucking information, all at once. And it took me a few years to realize, no, I actually know what I'm talking about. And it's a fucking horrible way to design a website with just shit plastered everywhere with no hierarchy and no structure.
Yeah.
And I've noticed with promo campaigns for products like both of these, This is perfect examples of, like you said, how to run a promo campaign and how not to. From the standpoint of Critical Role has a very focused path with their promo. Okay, here's the game, here's the teasers, here's the pre-release of the rules. Here's some more teasers. Now the game is coming out. Now it's the pre-orders. Here's the how to play videos. Everything is very linear and very structured.
Yeah.
D&D Beyond is just, they're still just throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. Here's a pre-order. Here's Sigil. Now here's some Sigil fucking tokens. Oh, Sigil's gone. You can still buy the tokens though. Now the map thing. Now the encounter builder. Oh, now we're back to releasing a whole bunch of books. They're just all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
And it gets to the point where, again, it just confuses the shit out of the customer, and it flips this little mental breaker in your head that just kind of tunes you out a little bit, because it's too much effort to wade through all of their miasma of what they're fucking throwing at you.
Yeah.
So,
no, I agree. I mean, if you look at the Daggerheart website, it's super clean, it's its own space for you to go experience it. I mean, you could go on to Beacon, which is their social media platform that they use in Discord as a way to build community. And then, of course, you can go to the Critical Role website, right? And I may sound like a fanboy or a fan person. I don't intend to. I just have a high degree of appreciation for structure and organized attempts and like attention to detail, and the idea, the idea that some people are still posing the argument, is Critical Role creating a D&D killer? I that's an old argument that has no end. It has no future. It doesn't matter. Will this game benefit and have 50 years of lore 50 years later because of how much fun it is to play? It gets the benefit of creating its own lore. Their first campaign, which I want to talk about briefly. So their first campaign, Age of Umbra, is coming out relatively soon. Session 0. They had Session 0 character creation last week. They've got this great new Age of Umbra title introduction that looks so old school with a nice black and white feel to it, which is really kind of cool. A little bit of LARP and a little bit of, fantasy, play in the theatrics of how they built it. Very much appealing to a multi-level of audience. And to, it's one book. They built a book that makes sense. I challenge anyone to go over to Paizo and look at Pathfinder and try to make sense of that brick. I mean, they've never done a very good job of organizing their book. WotC obviously is still following the old tradition of here's this book first, here's this book next, here's this book next, that's
and then here's the errata to the first book that we just released a month late, a month. It's
exactly. Not to say there may not be a zine or something to come out that whatever Critical Role chooses to introduce their version of that, whether it's to make a correction or to add something to it. I don't know. All I know is I don't feel like I was cheated. I don't feel like, and you know me, Brian, I don't buy books.
I know.
Like, I don't buy them. I just buy the
I'm
PDF.
actually surprised that you did.
I was so intrigued by the whole launch, the whole marketing campaign, and how well they handled it. I felt like, you know what? For once, I'm going to buy a book because it just felt. I mean, they even follow the old school method of color indexing the pages. So all the indexes are colored.
I didn't even know that. I said I haven't even cracked mine open.
So like if you use the color guide, you can go to a section right away without even having to refer to the table of contents. So I really love that. And I will tell you, the construction and quality of the book is in alignment with their marketing campaign. The artwork. I mean, the artwork is just beautiful. It's gorgeous artwork. Well,
their artwork is always phenomenal because they respect. So, and again, here it goes. This is interesting how full circle this episode is. You're right. They treat their audience and their customers with like they understand their value.
You know what they've done. You know what they've done that WotC to this day doesn't know how to do?
Listen to.
Well, there's that. But WotC continues to look at its customer base as a way to earn money. Critical Role looks at its customer base as a group of family community fans that have gotten them to where they are today. And let's be clear. Let's be crystal clear about this. 10 years ago, when they were on their little Twitch channel with 1,000 viewers, and the viewers were ordering them food online as a way to kind of reward them for the amazing game that they were playing.
I remember that.
To where they got to, it was not an easy road. It wasn't just like it just happened. This idea that everything they touch is supposed to be successful is complete bullshit. Like, people
they've
are
had some failures.
Well, I mean, people are hammering them on how Candela Obscura was so catered to a particular niche of players. And I'm like, that's right. It was. They even said it was.
What's the point? What's the argument?
Yeah, there's no argument. You're pissed off that, they created something that didn't shine platinum the first month.
I mean, I have a copy, and quite honestly, I don't think I'll ever run a Candela game, and I'll probably very rarely play it. But I totally understand.
We played it for 6 months, and we had a lot of fun doing it.
Like you said, it caters to a specific subset.
It's very cinematic. It's very theater of the mind. It's the reason why D&D enjoys such popularity is because it's like wearing a comfortable pair of socks. They're reliable. They're on guardrails. There's very little you can do to fuck it up. It's incredibly reliable. It's a jalopy, things like Candela Obscura and Daggerheart, Knives in the Dark, and like all of these other games have been coming out lately over the last 3 or 4 years.
Grimoires of the Unseen.
Yeah, which is another one that we're playtesting right now. Next Monday we'll have I think part 3. So it's like, I just feel like I don't want to sound like a fanboy or a fan person. I don't want to, but it's easy to sound like one when you're being treated with respect.
I was just before you said that sentence, I was just going to say it's not really fanboying if everything is good.
Yeah, I mean, everything from the playtest, right, to the setting up of the playtest. There were some nuances I didn't like, but it didn't diminish the fact that they were far more interactive on the playtesting than D&D ever was on the 2024 rulebook. Yeah, it's the Beatles all over again. Hey, how old do you think I am? God damn it, Xander.
7 years old, goddamn. So I have, and I don't say this to brag. Actually, I do. But
you do.
I have a tiny sliver of insight into Critical Role, obviously. And for those of you who have not met Matt Mercer is Matt Mercer. There's not an on-stage Matt Mercer and a regular Matt Mercer. It's the same person.
Yeah.
And they're all that way. And he truly is, I think the reason for that, for everything that you've said, is he truly has this feeling of incredulity that even now they are doing what they are doing.
Yeah.
It's no joke. He is so humble and so genuine and so thankful and giving back. And they all are. Okay. Yeah. And I've talked to him. So I know this. This is not just a guess. I've talked to him. And they have also maintained control, which I think is a very good thing, because as soon as you give that control away to bean counters, that goes out the window.
Yeah, you lose the quality once you do that.
So, and kudos to Legendary for, as far as I know, again, my knowledge only goes so far. It's not that far, I'm going to be honest. But, from what I know, kudos to Legendary for buying them and leaving them the fuck alone to do what they do.
Yeah.
Right? And not sticking their noses in.
Yeah.
So, I think that, like you said, it really is like a family over there, and I think that has all to do with it, on their understanding of their community versus like a WotC or a Hasbro or a whoever,
and
corporate name here.
And I mean, when I was going through the PDF, I realized I could have just simply bought the PDF, but I felt, like I said earlier, like what you agreed with earlier, I felt respected. And it's very rare that you feel that way anymore when you spend your money on something. You know, I mean, like I feel, you know, like when we had Game Master Mom on and she was so excited about her book, and then she knocks it out of the park. Her very first Kickstarter, her very first publication that's being exposed, she knocks everything out of the park, all of it. You know, she meets beats within 24 hours of her funding. She learned how to do all that Kickstarter stuff. She was super just jonesing and having a good time, and she feels genuine. You know what I mean? She feels genuine.
Yeah, it's because she is.
You know, and sometimes you forget that you can still like people who are making money. More importantly, taking your money to make money.
Yeah, sure. If they're not assholes, and if they don't treat you like assholes.
Yeah, you know,
it's not fucking rocket science. And like I said,
I am
amazed.
Into rocket science, unless you purposely make it into rocket science,
then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
then you're doing it wrong.
Yeah,
I am amazed. I am truly amazed that our two subjects have literally, like I said, come for full circle. Because this, like you said,
well, I had a funny feeling that you may have decided to rant about Pixel because we were off screen for a couple weeks because of schedules, and I'm like, you know what? I bet you. Is he going to rant about Pixel? And as soon as you put on that stupid cowboy hat, I'm like, oh, he's going to rant about Pixel. He's going to rant.
How long have we known each other? It's got to be way longer than 4 years.
I know. It feels like it. My brother from another
it's
mother's
the same
brother.
thing. Like, you know, you were happy to give them your money because you felt valued and you felt like you were getting value. It's not a difficult thing. All Pixels had to do was not fucking put their shit on their website and not put it on fucking Amazon, which is a gigantic fuck you to every fucking person that backed their Kickstarter. I mean, there's just no way around it. And that is the absolute extreme over here, whereas Critical Role is the exact opposite. It's just, you know, again, it took me a lot of years. It took me a lot of years in advertising to come to the realization.
Needless to say, I will be consuming as much as I possibly can, organizing it, because now that I know that the PDF has all the cards and everything in digital, it'll make it a lot easier to share that in the digital space. You know,
I have the art for all the cards I can send them
to. I'm just saying, it's like.
I'm joking. I'm not going to do that.
It's just I was a little worried about whether or not I was going to be able to play this as an online game. But now I'm not. I'm also not worried about running an encounter with minis because of, you know, the whole mechanics of the distance system.
That's really nice that it allows you, you know, like I think that's the cool. Well, one of the coolest things about Warhammer 40,000 is everything is measurements.
Yeah.
You never had a map with any kind of grid or hexes on it. You just, you know, you could put them on a kitchen table and play, which is
now
really cool.
It's like, it's just a comparative measurement of what's considered, you know, near.
Even better. Yeah.
You know, close to near to far to distant, or, you know, I haven't gone through and done all that, but
well, like, someone's got to run a Daggerheart game because I want to play it. I don't want to run it.
Oh yeah,
not at the outset. So either you or Kristen need to run a game so I can play.
No, I'm definitely going to run it. And I want it to be a part of our creator corner that we started.
Okay.
So I think that I want to get Misfits into creative corner. I want to get.
Yeah.
There were a couple other people that played with you guys on Dungeon Master or Game Master Mom.
Misfits, Death Rolls, and
Death Rolls, Misfits. I really want to get them into the creative corner.
And Kids Table, Allison from Kids Table D&D.
Yeah, I want to get all those folks in the creator corner because I really want to put that Daggerheart game together. And I've already got an idea of what the age is going to be called, and I've kind of got a really good campaign idea in mind.
Oh, awesome.
So yeah, I've been thinking about this for probably 2 years now. And I had a lot of fun creating that short playtest campaign that we did. So if either you or Kristen can get the Discord info over to
Yes.
those guys for me, that would be great.
You set that up on your server, right?
Correct, on my server.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should we give a hint at what the Creators Corner is, or should we leave it till we actually have something?
I mean, basically, the Creators Corner was just a safe place for all of us to talk about our creative stuff, and whether it's your painting,
GMs, specifically GMs, like we all.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what you told me was a group of GMs that can all play and take turns actually running the game.
Eventually, I'd like to get to that point. Yeah, absolutely.
But overall, just collaborating, bouncing ideas, brainstorming.
And that's the last thing I'll close out with. The creativity of knowing your community in Daggerheart is this gets as close to an anthology system that I've been trying to get to. You don't need this big bloated campaign anymore. You can have this. You get to build your own world that's not tied to pre-existing lore. You just build it, right? And then you come and play in that world, and then that world can just be put on a shelf, and then you build a new world, and people build new characters. It feels like something you could play for a few months, and they go, "Oh, that was awesome. Now I want to play something different." It doesn't feel like it's bloated. They really listened to the community, and they really understood through the after effect of the playtest that people don't want these 5-year save the world campaigns that often. If you're a brand new player, it would be nice to play in one of those at some point. But Daggerheart does a really good job of organizing the framework of play that you don't feel like you have to do that every time you play. And obviously, there's not like a million campaigns. There's not like a million modules out, right? What they give you in here is a framework to build your own stuff. Super easy. And the last thing, I know this was supposed to be the last thing, but I just remembered.
You could have as many last things as you want.
As they release another sign that they love their community, they made a 1.0 OGL license with logos, a document reference, and they didn't even wait for an argument. They said, hey, this is the stuff that you can use to resell our content. You don't have to argue or anything. Here it is. It's all clearly played out. Here's the license. Here's everything you need. Here's the logos you can use. If you want to build something, as long as you follow this document, you can do whatever you want with it.
Pixels.
Well, we did it again, Bri, but we're finishing a little bit early. But where can we find you, Bri? What do you got going on? Where can we find you?
You can find me at RPG & Co. on Instagram. Check out YouTube. Check out the website at playrpgandco.com. Probably need to put that on there. But yeah, send me a DM. I love chatting. Obviously, I love collaborating. I mean, we're all, one big happy family. And I love, I've connected with a lot of new people lately. Kristen, James over at Misfits, Game Matt Nicole from Game Master Mom, Trevor, Death Rolls Dice, Allison, Josh. Yeah, just like this whole, I really feel like there's this momentum going, that's starting to develop. I know you and I have kind of talked about some aspect of this Creatives Corner thing for quite a while now.
Long time, yeah.
Of just like getting everybody, like-minded people and personality or demeanor, or I don't know the right word. The right amount of humble. Okay.
Yeah.
And just doing cool shit. And I feel like it's really starting to pick up momentum. So for all the new people that I've gotten to meet lately, I'm thrilled. I really am, honestly.
You can find me over at TTRPG Academy Linktree. You can find me over at ttrpgacademy.life, which is the website. I finally will be posting a couple tables. I have a couple tables currently posted. I'm going through some reboots on some tables that are wrapping up and getting ready to kick off new campaigns. But I guarantee you, one of my pro to play tables will be a Daggerheart table. For
Dibs.
sure. So
Save me a seat.
but pay to play. So yeah, Daggerheart.
Save me a seat.
Yeah, this table, I got to figure out where it's going to fit into the schedule, but it's definitely going to be one I'm going to run. I finally feel like I have a core rule system that's just got all that little bit of creativity, a little bit of crunch, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, streamlining the combat, streamlining the initiative, still maintaining the difficulty check system, the hope and fear system. There's just a lot to do. And it's all fun to do, and I'm looking forward to it. So
I'm going to create a character.
Yeah, I know. Like, as soon as we wrap up Grimoires the Unseen, we're going to immediately launch into a Daggerheart campaign on our Monday night game. And session 0, create characters. And
sweet.
So yeah, that's definitely going to be happening for sure.
Awesome, cool.
Hey, Bri. TPK.
Tell a story, Jason.
You didn't let me do TPK.
All right, start over. And most importantly, please remember, don't buy Pixels dice. Thanks for joining us,
everybody.